What's up, guys? This is gonna be a cool little Q&A video, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you watch through to the end if you want to see all the questions and stuff. If you ever wondered about the S14, I am answering all of it. If you missed out, follow my TikTok and my Instagram. That's where I posted the Q&A. And next time we do this, make sure you're part of it. We're about to head back to the shop right now, and you'll see this driving bit later in the video if you watch to the end. See you soon. We're gonna answer a few questions at the shop, then we're gonna start the S14, drive to the next spot, and answer some more. Let's start with the first question. So Sean says, why do you think we don't see more people driving to the track, drifting, then driving back home? Why does nobody work towards real reliability? I think it's more of a comfort type of thing. So just having a tow rig makes it so much easier. You don't have to worry about driving hours to the track in your race car. On top of that, if you have a bucket seat, no AC, like this has no AC, bucket seat, it gets pretty hot in here. You know, if it rains, it's gonna get steamy. It's just not easy to drive to the track, but this is like a full-blown track car. If you have a street car and you drift it, like I know a couple boys that have street cars, they drive to the track, they drift, they go home. It just depends on the build you have, your lifestyle, whether you have a tow rig or not, if you have people to go with, because you're not gonna obviously drive hours to the track by yourself, drift and drive hours back home alone. Low and Slow says, what are you running for front suspension and steering? Front suspension wise, it's pretty much stock. In Mayhem, they run 9.5. I'm running 8.6. So yeah, 8K spring rate in the front, 17-inch wheels, 9.5 width, which I would preferably want 9, but 9.5 is what I have. So the RPF ones, I think plus 15 offset. That's about it. I have Tane, I believe they're called traction arms, and then I have ISR Pro tie rod ends. Oh, okay, what alignment specs am I running? I talked to Hiro Kuno and asked him basically for a decent setup for an S14 with a stock SR20. In the back, I am running negative 0.30 degrees of camber, 0 toe. Front, I believe the camber plates on the coils are maxed out. That's like negative 3 degrees of camber. Caster, I don't know. I don't think I can adjust caster too much with the suspension being so stock, but it has a good amount of caster. It self-steers quite well with spacers and the increased scrub radius. Couldn't tell you my toe settings in the front. The car is just really simple. I haven't played with alignment settings yet. Those are my desired settings, and they're done by eye. I kind of measured it, but yeah, they're mostly done by eye, but those are the settings that I am closest to with the S14. Best ECU option for SR, stock, Apexi FC standalone, and harness/chassis routing. I'm gonna link a playlist at the top of the screen that shows all the wiring I've done to this car because I've wired this car up from scratch. Best ECU, I'm on a stock ECU. I wanna get it tuned, but I'm trying to find the best company to do that because I feel like everybody has mixed reviews, so you have to do your research. So yeah, obviously don't go standalone if you have a stock SR, but if you have upgraded turbo, upgraded injectors, I recommend standalone. But the number one thing in having a reliable engine that doesn't blow up or anything is your tune. So if you do a big upgrade that's not simple bolt-on, standalone. You all know the custom fuse and relay panel is underneath the dash, and then you can see all my harnesses running right there. Here they come across, they go into the trunk, obviously for the tail lights and the fuel pump back there. And the engine bay is a Wiring Specialties Pro harness. Yeah, that's basically the harnesses I have set up in the car. That's about it. Very simple. What do you think is a better rear-wheel drive car for the prices of 240s? I couldn't tell you. I've only ever driven a Miata, and I think I did a donut once in it, and then I had my 240, so I couldn't tell you, but from what I see, Miata, BMW, 350s, sure, they're good. But if I had to recommend something, obviously I'm gonna say 240 because that's the only thing I've drifted in before. What's my favorite memory building this car? It had to be back during the time where I was wiring it up for the first time ever on the new fuse and relay panel, the first drive. You guys know how that ended if you've been on the channel for a while. Just when I first got the car running is probably my favorite, or one of my favorite memories. Okay, what horsepower is best for drifting? Anything less than 400, but I think the best range for drifting would be between 200 to 400. Don't go off of that. You can drift with 90 horsepower, you can drift with 900. So obviously anywhere between like 200 to 400 reliably is the perfect sweet spot for a drift car. All right, let's start this thing up. One of my GoPros died, so I can't give you guys the full SR goodness, but we're testing out a flutter mic. issue. We're gonna have to postpone the Q&A video for a second. We are post work and I'm gonna finish the Q&A here at the park. My GoPros were dead, so I'm very sorry I couldn't get the raw audio, but it's gonna be in a future video. So if you guys wanna see that, make sure you subscribe. If you guys are enjoying the Q&A so far, leave a like. The next question is, what was the moment I knew this car was it? The day I finished the wiring, which is like all the chassis harness, fusion relay panel, and wired everything up. I achieved all my accomplishments. Not all of them, obviously, but like the big milestone, you know, the car's wired and running. That day happened and it was like, all right, this is it, like this is happening. That's when it became real. Next one is, what cars do you think would be good for someone wanting to get into drifting? 240s. I mean, I can't speak too much, I don't have experience driving other cars, but 240, BMW, anything rear-wheel drive that has a good balance, that's not jerky and sporadic. Google it, and there's gonna be owners and drivers of every model, and they're gonna tell you how the car drives. Like, for example, S2Ks are pretty hard to drift. They're very sporadic, but 240 is a great entry car. BMW, E36, E46, great entry car. Do you recommend Modelo Drive fenders or pay 2 times for Origin fenders? My front fenders are Modelo Drive, kind of like an eBay brand, and they look really good. They don't fit well. I had to do a ton of cutting, so if I had to recommend something, pay double for Origin because it will last and it's gonna fit directly bolt on. You won't have to cut anything. You guys know, if you're subs, that the corner lights didn't go on for so long because of the Modelo Drive front fenders. So definitely Origin. And if I had to go back in time, everything on this car would be Origin. SR20 over everything, and why? I love SR20s, they're authentic. That was kind of like the go-to in Japan, and they have a very, very unique sound. SR20s, and that's kind of the main thing I love about them. When you're ready to pick a color or wrap for it, I wrap cars, I got you. I'm also building an S14. Dude, that's sick. S14s are awesome, I love them. They're like the in-between between S13's agility and S15's rigidity. So S14's awesome. I really want to paint the car. Everyone keeps telling me wrap, but I want to paint it because that's more like authentic style. But yeah, hit me up, dude, we'll figure something out. Long-term EFI management goals or electronic fuel injection. Definitely going to be running E85 because that's kind of like closest I can get to 100 octane without paying for race gas. In Japan, they have 100 octane at the pump, so a lot of the cars in Japan, the drift cars, run 100 octane. The equivalent here would be E85, the best equivalent here. E85, obviously upgraded injectors. Fuel pump, I don't even think I need to upgrade that too much. Obviously, I have the upgraded fuel pump now going from KA to SR, but in the future, I don't think I have to do too much with that. If you guys hear the highway in the back, I apologize, by the way, I'm sorry. Top 5 wish list parts for this car: Cinco manifold, gram lights, 2-way diff, tubs, and paint. That was pretty easy. Top 5 wish list parts. Okay, some monkey said, why don't you have a big ass wing yet? I will never get a big ass wing. If I do a GT wing, it'll be a low mount style wing, but I'm duckbill. I'm a duckbill type of guy. Is the owner racist? No. I would love to see you do some fab work on this thing. Well, we just bought a welder for the shop, and I welded for the first time like 2 weeks ago. Obviously it was bad. Yeah, in the future we're gonna do some fab work on this. Why is it monster trucking? That's actually a really good question. So I have 17s in the front and 18 in the rear. The 17 in the front is to clear the tubs, which obviously I don't have, but still that's just like the go-to setup in Japan. It all has to do with weight transfer. Weight transfer and clearance, that's why the car is monster trucking. What's the next car going to be? S13. I don't know. Obviously the top 3 cars I'd want to get next, like project-wise, is S13, maybe some form of a circuit car where I could do racing with, maybe in BMW. I'm a very big fan of 1J or JZ swapped BMWs. I think they're really neat, really simple and cool. So if I had to pick one car to get next, PS13 all day long. Bro. What initially got me into drifting? This might be kind of long, but back in high school, I used to play Need for Speed 2015. Shout out, that was my favorite racing game. Obviously not of all time because I play Aceto now on Sim, but doing that, learned to drift in that game. I would drift all the time with my friend. Me and my friend would drift like every night, like hours on end. It was just so much fun trying to always balance on the line with the car. It just stemmed from there. Next question is, what's the next mod going to be on the S14? The top 3 things: 2-way diff, paint, or new wheels. There's an actual train that runs through here. Bro, I don't know where I am right now at all. I have no idea where I am. What in the world? If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, drop them below in the comments and I'll answer them in depth. There's a bird in the shop. I have to get that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.